Y'all said you wanted to see a laser. Well, here it is. Here it is. So much power, so much overwhelming force that we just, we really just seeing it for what it is right now. As you can see, the lights. Well, street lights in particular, I guess, are different than, the typical thing they'll choose to use as a waveguide. Because, I mean, for the most part, it's not necessarily they're trying to, do what they're doing here. I guess I'll leave it at that for now. Typically, the whole idea of using random shit as a waveguide to, be able to direct their, particle bullshit is because, well, although they're, lasers are with, a toroidal emitter, which by, kind of design of the emitter geometry results in a laser source that is ultimately, I guess, but it's already, it gets its orbital angular momentum naturally. You don't have to use a spin phase plate or some other kind of, I want to say, not real sources of, OAM that you can use to do, bangers like this, where it's you're either terrorizing the population or, doing crazy shit like, reading and writing to the brain, because you got to be able to do that pretty fast. Learned this the hard way myself. I didn't realize an SD card that I had got was not rated for, footage over 1080p. And so I took a lot of really good footage that just became corrupted, and I didn't realize it until I was the next day type shit, because there was so much happening. I just couldn't really stop and check what was going on at the time. I was just yo, I only got 100 gigs on here and the storage. Let me just, use the SD card so I don't have to delete anything. And then, lo and behold, I could have sworn the videos were cause I remember I looked at a few, it's not like I didn't look at any, but anyway, by the time I got to the library the next day to, dump the load, it was oh dude, I fucked up. And yeah, I feel I basically, I don't know, I'm rambling right now. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, I was trying to talk about the Jesus. My bad, I just got pretty stoned. Which fuck me, bro. How are you gonna not get pretty stoned when you're dealing with literally technology that's probably from the next 30 or 50 years? It wouldn't be available, and you say, oh, it's not aliens. It's the best part. So it turns out the aliens thing is just a, kind of on some next level cuck shit. From what I've come to understand, and this is of course making the assumption that the deal with the aliens didn't go the way that it supposedly did, which is that, I don't know, somehow people make the other, worldly beings salty, and then I guess they they're at some kind of a gathering or a promotional event or a mixer, between the liaisons, as they say, and the the other things. So supposedly, I don't know, my thought was always, they either killed them or, kind of basically deceived them. And I think in this one, it's probably a combination of both, but maybe more so on the deception part than the killing part. Because I won't think that the, U.S. government at any point was down to not just shoot first, ask questions later. So, I don't think it's a far-fetched, far-fetched conclusion to assume that, probably was some treachery on the part of us humans. And so we never got the full thing, from what I understand, it's not actually physically possible to reverse engineer the hardware of, these people. And it's for the reason that is the most satisfying for me, and it's that we don't understand their physics, which is, kind of the point, right? How can you make something if you don't understand how it works? I don't mean the device itself, but the means and the whys and the hows of what actually enables that device, or rather yet, how do the design, components translate into doing, X functionalities. Because sometimes it's just like, oh, bro, like, and I feel the same way about organic chemistry to a big extent, just because it's not, there's such a deep field. Like, by no means, I never really got into synthesis like the way that I guess wanted to. I was really just more into fucking, I guess learning reaction mechanisms, because that was really interested me. Just, everything's driven by energy. Man, what a rambling this is. Back to the topic. Anyway, so for the actually, I'm gonna get Jesus, this is hilarious. My ADHD is fucked up. Going back to what I was saying about the actual alien technology, but so it's like, yeah, if you're just getting like finished products and you're not able to, for lack of a better word, I'm saying this. You're not, like I said, yeah, you just can't understand it. So for that reason, you're not going to be able to then make your own, or like at least. And I'm going to assume this is like some flavor of like how the Chinese do it, I guess, or like any of are really like adept copiers of U.S. tools, because there's a lot of that.